We will be coming. What's going on, everybody? I see what's going on, Shantae Jean. What's going on, Joe Blast? What's going on? The Master Law, the Yoda and Johnny. Just get it going. We're going to get going in a few minutes. Give me a minute. Wait for the music can connect. We're going to get going. There we go. Music is now connect. Let's get it going. This is Lawrence D. Adams and the what? Thinking Class. We're going to get going in a few minutes. Give me a few minutes. We get going. Shout out to the Thinking Class, everybody that's here. I see you in the chat room. Let's go. Lawrence D. Adams. Let's go. Is the thinking class ready? Let's get it going. Lawrence D. Adams, I am here. Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's get going. Let's get going. The thinking class. Let's go. Let's go. Let's elevate. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get going. The thinking class is ready to go. Elevate to the next level. I might have to put on my black brim today, just for those who don't know. Recognize who I really am. Catch me tonight and on Mr. 1950 channel tonight as we talk about the state of manhood. We're gonna go in live. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's go. Lawrence D. Adams. Let's go. All right. Nothing but good vibes. What's going on? Like the love that's been shown. What's going on? Let me get my camera straight. There you go. All right. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Sorry about that. We're going to get started in a few minutes. What time is it? Oh, yeah, we're about to start. Man, that's why I got this buffer to time. What's going on? I think the love is being shown. A shout out to everybody that's in the chat room. Fierce Soul, W, Jonathan W, Dre. Shout out to you. Shout out to Joe, Fierce Soul, William, Dre, Coach Michael, Sigma. What's going on? William, let's going on. Let's get everybody in here. Joe Blas is in here. Let me correct something from yesterday that I have to correct. Shantae Dickerson, that's all right. I know you forever since we were kids. What's going on? Shout out to everybody that's listening. This is Lawrence D. Adams. As you see, I got my Unity shirt on. I got it this weekend, but I want to definitely talk. Something I said yesterday, I stand to be corrected. Shout out to Joe Blas for actually correcting me. That a quote that I said that someone made, and actually the original where it originally came from was someone else, and that quote was monopoly. There's no monopoly on common sense. When you heard me say that yesterday, let me get that correct there. What's going on, Rain and Woman? There's no monopoly on common sense. That actually comes from the singer Sting. He said that in his song. He said that in his song. So that actually quote comes from, shout out to Sting. If you listen to Sting, we're quoting you. The singer Sting from the formerly with the group Police actually said that comment first. So it don't matter. I just want to give kudos to everybody who said it. So because it makes so much sense. Let me see what's going on here. Okay. If you miss Alfie Kingdom's birthday with AMS, you missed something else. It was good. I came in some parts of it, but it was actually really good yesterday. Asked some good questions. But I wanted something that I didn't know. Shout out to everybody that's watching in the clouds who watched the replay. So once I get the clip, I'm going to definitely know I'm going to put AMS what he said, that we know that, he said I had a good channel. So shout out to him. Shout out to the people who listen, who may not say nothing, but definitely know that we're doing good things over here. Shout out to everybody, everyone over here. We are coming to the last week of the spiritual side of the game. We're coming to the last week of the spiritual side of the game. As you have seen, it has been extraordinary what has been going on with the spiritual side of the game. You know why it's been extraordinary? Because it's been extraordinarily touching people on the extraordinary level. And something that I quoted in here. There go Jono, right on time. So yeah, so definitely, man. So once again, I want to say, you heard it like I heard it yesterday. Did you hear somebody say something about the thinking class yesterday? We might have switched songs on that one. I don't know. Did you hear that, Jono? It might have been me.
I heard two people say the thinking class.
Wait a minute. Who was it?
The other guy.
It was none other. Shout out to AMS for showing the love to the thinking class and to what we do over here. Shout out to the thinking class. Shout out to AMS. You said somebody else too?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the other person? I don't know the other person.
We'll talk about it later.
Not again. Again, same.
Mm-mm.
Someone else new?
Bigger.
Huh?
Bigger.
Uh-oh. You know what that means? The thinking class is touching people on multiple levels. They may not say nothing in the comments, but I hear to tell you the thinking class is touching people. Shout out to Sharif that's in the place. Shout out to everybody who's listening.
I'll show you the clip, then you can bring it up tomorrow.
Oh boy. I forget I can bring clips up. Sure I can. So today we're sort of talking about the spirit doesn't stop your game, it elevates your game. Let me say that again. Tap it in. True Savage. What's on True Savage? Yes, top of the day to my brothers and sisters. See, you know, John, there's something different we got over here, man. You know, it's nothing but love. We got, what's that? I wish I could play Heavy D. We got nothing but love for you, baby. We got nothing but love over here, and we elevate everybody that comes here. We do not, how can I say it? If you notice, we are giving an image of how men first need to how men need to interact with each other, and we also showing you how we allow what women to come into a man's space without being threatened by what we're saying. We are not changing our message. Nothing has changed. We're showing you an example of how men interact with each other, but we also showing you that we can allow women in this space and not be threatened by it, put them down, or degrade them. Because everybody here is going to get cut, no matter what. Because we do not give a... It will be your own... Somebody said, it will be your own fault if you come over here and that's what happened. I've been saying, you would be your own fault why you came over here and did something that wasn't things like that. But we're talking about the spirit of the spirit doesn't stop you from elevating. There you go. Uh-oh, they didn't put it in the chat room. Everybody get cut. Everybody gets their fair share at the bottom, at the bag. You may get punched. Is this the truth? Am I lying, John? Or I could be, I could be lying. Everybody get punched.
Well, there's a famous statement: you don't know what you really can take until you take a punch.
Right.
So, and that's speaking, metaphorically as well. You have to think about it. Until you have some pressure put on you, how you gonna know how you react or what your true, threshold of pain really is. When agents are training at the CIA, they put them through purpose stress tests, not to see what you would do in an ordinary situation, but what would you do in a primal, what's your primal reaction in a state under pressure? And they want to know what kind of, person you are based on that type of level. They don't trust who you are in an interview. They trust who you are under stress.
Right. That's why that's one of the reasons why we're called the thinking class, because you realize that what you do over here, we want you to think and to reason, because if not, it will be your own as fault why it's not working for you. We're gonna wear that out. We might have to get a shirt with that. But it's the truth over here. What's going on, Viking? What's going on, Tish? What's going on? Yeah, most people, that's it. Most folks talk crap until they get punched in the face. But we're still talking about the spiritual side of the game, because a lot of times you don't realize that the spirit is not trying to stop your game, it's trying to elevate your game. And what happens is a lot of people misinterpret the spirit by putting it in a box in a church or in a mosque or in a temple, not realize the spirit of God is trying to move outside of the four walls. And when it moves outside of the four walls, it can touch more people than it can touch just being inside of the four walls on a Sunday morning, on a Saturday, or whenever you choose to have a day of worship. So it's about elevating your game. And if you listen to everything we talked about these past 3 weeks, and it's the fourth week, the Spirit has been showing you, not just through the teaching, but showing you with our personal lives and with your lives, that it want to elevate your game.
It's true. And you just said something very important about containing. You know, there's nothing containing it right now. And what happens is when you put it in a box, when you put it within four walls, you limit the edge or the reach of your spirit. And think about it. Even though the spirit's inside you, what's the volume level? What's the amount of ounces? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what the volume of it is because it's limitless. It has limitless potential. So why don't you put yourself in a position where you don't put a cap on it, don't put four walls around it, don't stop it from having its own potential expressed, and you can see the true magnitude of what spirit can really do for you.
And that's the thing, because spirit really is looking, because the spiritual side of the game is looking so that you can stop struggling and so that you can thrive, not just in your relationship, not just in your money, but every part of your life. That's why we call it the spiritual side of the game, because the spirit is trying to give you the best possible answer, best possible solution to take you to the next level. And what happens is a lot of people are afraid because of what they heard in the past, and we don't want to mix that with this and that. No, the spirit is trying to get you to the next level, to elevate you. If you can be elevated and realize that it is limitless, it knows all, it's omnipotent, it is aware of everything at the same time, at the same time, then you will see what, as True Savages put it, there's no ceiling to what? To anything. The only ceiling that we put on is through our perception of what is taking place. The only ceiling there is to your game is only what you put on it. The only ceiling that you put on the spirit, is the spiritual side of the game, is what you perceive and what you put on it. The spirit is limitless. John, even yesterday, after we jumped off the cameras, spirit got moving, what? Limitless. Out of nowhere.
It's true. It's true. I was talking about repositioning and making yourself open for new opportunities, and I didn't look at any type of, the two things that I felt was a challenge, and I like to use the word challenge because challenges can be overcome. And within, I would say by the end of yesterday, I already made up for several days of, I would say, would have been considered lack or a challenge, and thus more. And I'm realizing that if you put yourself in a position just to receive, we talked about when you put yourself in a position to receive, you have infinite opportunities. And what happens is you have to actually recognize and literally pay attention to when opportunities trying to look at you. If you stay in a negative mindset because maybe something that happened in the past, even the immediate past, something that may have happened just a couple of days ago, you will miss the mark on where and why that actually happened. The milk gets soured because you're supposed to go get a fresh batch. You know what I'm saying? It's not because you're supposed to try and go make that old thing work. Okay, when the old thing don't work to the point where they just don't even taste the same, guess what? You got to go and get a new batch, and that new batch will actually be the one to sustain you forward.
And that's the problem. Somebody is, wow, it just came to me. Somebody is milking a cow that ran out of milk. Let me say that again. Someone who's listening to this, you are milking a cow that has ran out of milk. And what you're looking to sustain you is not going to sustain you anymore. That's the spiritual side of the game. Listen to what we're saying. Someone is milking a cow and it has ran out of milk, and you're looking for it to sustain you. and it's not working anymore. The spiritual side of the game, what I said, is here to elevate you, to get you, not to stop you, but to get you to the next level. Let me say that again. Someone is milking a cow, and you're wondering why, where's the milk? Because that cow that you're milking has ran out of milk, and it can no longer sustain you.
You may have developed an allergy, and it may make you intolerant. You may have to change milk types. And we're just being, basically using an analogy here, but you have to recognize when it's time to move past your particular situation that you think made you comfortable. If you literally are becoming uncomfortable in something you considered comfortable, you need to now recognize that and move on. Okay? You can't, but it can't take up the same space. The thing that is hindering you and holding you back is taking up the space that will elevate you. And you need to replace those items. It's not about putting yourself and thinking, oh, well, I owe homage to this past obligation, or I owe homage to this past person in my life just because they have longevity or seniority in your life. You have to literally price out the value. And if there's no value there, like I'd say before, have your sheet worth of cons and pros. And if the cons outweigh the pros, they got to go. That thing has to go. Some of you are driving a car that has to go. Some of you are living in a place that you just have to get out of. Are you spending more money and more time on your behind trying to sustain something that doesn't belong in your life?
What did AMS say yesterday about New York and Atlanta? The analogy that he gave.
Oh man, it was awesome. It was awesome
because it applies right here. It fits right here.
Somebody asked him why. I think somebody asked Alfie, and Alfie redirected the question back to AMS, and he said, listen, why'd you leave New York to go to Atlanta? He already came up north. Why'd you go back down to Atlanta? He said, listen, it was basically cost of living. He said the tax rate in New York is basically 13%, 13.5. I don't know what he said the rate was. I haven't lived or been working in New York for a while. So he basically said it was 13% as opposed to living in Atlanta. It was only going to be 5% for the state tax level. He said, you're literally giving up, in his case, $8,000 per $100,000 more money just to live somewhere else. And he said, I'm working out of my kitchen. So if I could work out of my kitchen here, or I could work out of my kitchen there, and that means I have more buying power in Atlanta than here. It's not because the feeding ground for women was better. It wasn't because you can get more, exposure to your game or whatever. He said, no, it was purely about money. It was purely about having more buying power. And the more buying power you have with your money, the more choices you have. I thought that was brilliant.
It was very brilliant. Shout out to AMS again. I have to say that because someone is at the trough. I think that's what it's called. And you're sitting down on the stool and you keep milking something that is no more milk. Someone is milking a cow that's dead. Can't give you milk anymore.
I mean, think about it. What could you do with $8,000 that you didn't do last year with? You know what I'm saying? And have the same cost of living. He said it's also a 25% greater cost of living going from the two places. He says, who am I here to show off for? You know what? I can live literally the same exact life at a cheaper price just by moving. And he said that's why he made that decision.
And most people miss the analogy. Go, oh, AMS, oh my God. No, you need to listen to what was said.
That was brilliant. Sometimes I listen to all the other stuff. I don't need to really listen to the relationship stuff. I'm established. But the point really is when he was talking about, the empowerment stuff that he says, you gotta catch it. Okay. And I'm not saying that he's the end all be all, but I'm telling you this, everybody that speaks that tone, they're on their way up and they understand how to make a good platform and a good foundation for where they're going. And you know what? I respect that.
Right. That's why we talk about the spiritual side of the game. The spirit is not trying to stop your game. It's trying to elevate your game.
What have we heard since we were kids? A penny saved is a penny earned, right? You don't just have to spend money and spend, earn more money. Sometimes saving money is like giving yourself a raise or a promotion.
Mm-hmm. Please understand what we're getting at.
I believe in buying the best, but you know what? You can't afford the best if you're wasting your money on regular things and you're paying too much for it.
Right.
I truly believe that. We're sitting here buying the best cameras, the best mixers, the best everything. Where does that money come from? It comes from doing smart things with other situations. Okay? I don't go shopping at the premium supermarket. I shop at the budget place to make sure I have more quantity instead of quality, because sometimes certain things aren't really just more quality. They just got a bigger name on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'll trade and sacrifice that for my future. You know what I'm saying? I'm making an investment in my future before I decide, what I'm going to do. Of course, health is a factor, but you know what? Instead of having an expensive gym membership, I went and bought some equipment. So I don't have to keep that going every month. I can focus my energy on the items that are going to be investment worthy.
Shout out to Alpha Kingdom Podcast. Sending positive.
Happy belated birthday, brother.
Yes, sir. Sending positive energy to my brothers and ladies. Shout out to the thinking class. Shout out to you, Alfie. Good interview yesterday with AMS. Definitely a good interview. Good job. Proud of you. Keep doing your thing.
I think elevation.
Right. The spirit is only in the business of increasing your vibration. Thank you so much. That's what I want to get you to get. If you can understand how the spirit wants to be in every part of your life and elevate you to a point that your game, because we talk about game over here, game in the sense of solving problems and strategies, is so elevated that guess what? It makes you what? We said invincible, we say limitless, we say elevation. We got so many words that you won't be your own ass fault. It would be the what? Spirit's fault. It would be a response to the spirit.
Exactly. When you meet the right person and when you go in the midst of people that you're vibing with, you're responding to a certain frequency. The physical talks to the spiritual that way. And when there's a certain response that comes from that connection, you'll see it. It vibes on a vibration that actually has a resonance that you're comfortable with. And that's what we need to catch sometimes. We are sometimes not even vibing with our own spirit the right way. And guess what? You feel like something's off. You feel like something's taking longer than it should take. You feel like something's not getting accomplished. You feel the spirit of procrastination falling upon you. And when you see all that, there's an imbalance. What you need to do is go back and reevaluate, retweak that vibration so you get the best efficiency out of your particular connection with the spirit.
Do you believe? That's a good question.
Well, I say it like this: Can a bone be broken? Can your heart be broken? Listen, the spirit can be broken, but also can be mended. Okay. Sometimes we have to break the connection you have with it. Spirit is limitless. Okay, but you may not have a connection to it, and that's what breaks. Okay, when you break your connection to it, you're not communicating with it, and you're not utilizing its resources for your good. Especially if you're getting bad results out of it, you feel pain, you feel stress, you feel strife. All those things are negative results from a broken connection to the spirit. If you don't reconnect properly, you won't even believe in it.
Right.
You'll stop believing you can manifest. You'll stop believing that there's success coming from the inside. You'll stop thinking that things are not actually coming to your good for a reason to benefit your life. But guess what? Through meditation and affirmation and properly speaking to the spirit who's in you the right way, you can reconnect it. And it's like a bone after surgery. It's going to be like putting in some apparatus to make sure that the bone is laid straight. You need a new straight connection to the spirit. And yes, it can get mended and you can live on with a healthy connection to it once you've acknowledged it has been repaired.
And let me add to that. When we say the spirit, we're talking about not the spirit in general. We're talking about your your spirit being broken. So there's a distinction. The spirit of God is not what? Broken. It is your spirit because of what John said, is your connection to your own spirit that inhibits your connection to the spirit. You see the distinction? There's a distinction there. So what happens is, like you said, it has to be a healing in your spirit. And many times the healing is because you're holding something on emotionally, ways of thinking. And what happens is you're handcuffing your spirit, and it cannot connect with it. It can't connect properly to the spirit. So I want people to understand, is the spirit your spirit, then it's you. You have to become a technician to fix the connection issues, right? And actually, if you've been listening to this, a lot of people's spirits has been fixed by listening to this 4 weeks and beyond.
Exactly. We can go to the lighthouse, but we not know how to turn it on. We may go to the telescope and not be able to know how to look through the glass properly to see the right stars. Remember, the spirit is a tool. Okay, it's a tool that's buried within you that needs to be trained to use. Okay, and when you have a broken spirit, it means that you have lost the connection to it. A lot of times when people have physically broken bones, they have to go to rehab, go to some type of hospital to get long-term care. And you know what it is? Long-term care to get back what you remembered, to have use of that part of your body. Some people have to have their spirit reconnected. Sometimes they have to have rehab for their connection to the spirit, so you can realize how to utilize this tool to be a benefit in your life again.
That's good right there. That's good right there. Some people need to go to what? Spiritual rehab.
Exactly.
That's good.
You have to treat it like something that you have to use, and when you're not using it, it's unlearned. Get back to learning it. Get back to using it. A lot of people know that if they have the foundation of using the spirit to pray to, using the spirit to meditate to, using the spirit to affirm to, they have practice in there, and those muscles get strong. When you haven't been using it, they are weak and they need to be revitalized. So get back in the spirit, rehabilitate your connection to the spirit, and its connection to the one great link will be reestablished.
Right. So, Joe, I'm glad you asked these questions, because it's good, because people don't normally ask these questions. So there's a difference between my spirit and the Holy Spirit. Yes, there is. Shout out to Golden Child. Thank you for putting the links to PayPal. Thank you. Thank you. Shout out to Golden Child. But yes, there is a difference between your spirit and the Holy Spirit. And that's what John was talking about, the connection. Ding! What, it's like kicking up the Wi-Fi. As soon as you plug it in, you got mail.
Think about it. You're awake right now. You don't physically connect to spirit in the conscious. Okay? Your spirit, you're not even connected to your own spirit right now in the conscious. You can relay a message from it, you can feel it, but you're not actually connected to it until you are in that unconscious state. Okay? And guess what? That unconscious state talks to the spirit, and that spirit is already connected to the Holy Spirit. Okay? The Holy Spirit is a piece of the Holy Trinity. Okay? And guess what? When you look in I would say the vessel of sacred law, like the Bible, you can look at the Quran, you can look at even the Kabbalah. Inside there, those three entities are all one and the same. They're just aspects of it. The same way water is also steam and water is also ice. It's all the same thing. It's just different aspects of it. Okay? And your connection to the Holy Spirit is based on the separate aspect of you that is the subconscious, that is spirit. That's what connects to the Holy Spirit.
You guys are getting it, man. Why y'all going down this? The connection's real. What's up, LDA, Jono, and the rest of the chat? What's going on, Ted? So that's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game. The spirit is not trying to stop your game. It's trying to what? Elevate your game. It's trying to what? Elevate your game. We almost went into doctrine. And I tread light with doctrine.
That's true.
Yeah, I tread light with doctrine because I know everybody get the oneness and the Trinity, and but you cleaned it up real good. You covered it both.
I mean, like I said, we need to go into some of those like private teachings to really break it down.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: it's so powerful that the way I kind of look at it is like, I want to dig this hole, but now I could actually use a dump truck and a backloader, and all I have to use is my hands to operate the machine, as opposed to digging the hole with my hands.
Right.
Okay. When instead of having to use a shovel to plow out the row of soil so that I could plant my seeds, I could use an entire automated plow and just drive the plow. That's what happens when you connect with spirit. You're literally giving instructions to a much more powerful entity that all it has to do is carry out instructions.
And that's it right there.
And then imagine your computer right now. You're the operator of the computer, and then that computer is now connected either through Wi-Fi or through a physical connection to the router, right? But it's really the computer that's connected to the router, not you connected to the router. You're actually just typing on the keyboard, okay? That keyboard is now connected to a central network, all right? And that network in your house is now connected to a much bigger network. We call it the cloud, or we call it the internet, but it's vast billions of other people connected the same way. Mm-hmm. That's Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the great link between you and spirit. So if you look at it like the way you're connected to the internet right now, that even though you have this small, powerful device to get you on there, that the information you can download from it is infinite.
Infinite.
And makes you ultra powerful, and all you have to do is use your mind and actually connect to it and do what you have to do to get and pull the information for it. That's your connection to Holy Spirit.
You see what you look what True Savage wrote, man. Yeah, you don't want the mystery teachings. Y'all not ready for that. But they are ready, you know what? But it will have to be on Patreon. But I'm glad the questions are coming out, because you know why? When you ask questions, it's not just for you, it's for everybody else.
Exactly. And
if somebody else was thinking it but didn't say it, or because you realize over here, because we are a tribe, we're going to vibe. So you know, if you're thinking it, someone else is going to think about it also. So this is powerful. The spiritual side of the game has been, man, and the demonstration. So it wasn't just what talk we've been doing. It's been what? Demonstration of the spirit.
It's true. It's true.
And why do you think there's demonstration of the spirit? Is to show you that you know, we know that it's real.
We see it. We see the examples of it every time we actually come on the thinking class, and the responses come from the chat room. We can see the examples of our labor, and what happens is it's causing that circular return that we're talking about, and we're all vibing right now on this particular plane. Think about the physical state of water. Okay, at 70 degrees, water is a liquid. So think of what all of us like the liquid state right now, just vibing on a physical plane that we can touch and feel and respond to. Okay, now think about when we sleep, we're turning to a new state. That could be pretty much the evaporative state, which is basically steam, or basically lighter than the physical water, and allows it to rise up. Okay, and then you have the state of being a solid. Okay, that state of solid is actually could be considered another level of the physical. So we are thinking about things on multiple levels when it comes to our connection to each other and our connection to the spirit. And you need to look at those analogies to understand how it all works together. If you don't recognize it, then we're going to spend all our time trying to get to that point as opposed to utilizing it. You see what I'm saying?
Right. So everybody in the chat room, if this is resonating with you, let me know in the chat room that if this is resonating with you, let me know in the chat room, because we're talking about the spiritual side of the game. I don't care if you're watching on Facebook, you're watching on Instagram, not Instagram, but on YouTube. Let us know that this is resonating with you, because it's the reason why we're saying this, because, and this is being said today because you need to hear it. And there is elevation, not just at your door, but it is within you. It's not, see, a lot of people say, well, elevation is at your door, it's coming on to you. No, the elevation is what? Within, and then show without. Let me say that again. Elevation is not at your door, it is in the door, it is in you trying to get out. Exactly. I ask questions because I trust everyone in here to provide the proper knowledge and understanding through our conversation connection. We become closer to the spirit, correct? Let me say that again. Elevation is not knocking at your door. Elevation is trying to come out of you to meet you at the door. Let me say it that way. It's resonating with you. Why we use resonate? We want to know that you are saying, I'm getting this. I'm understanding this.
Is it at the same frequency of your thinking?
Ooh, that's good.
Resonating means, is it at the same frequency? That's what resonating actually means.
Is it, say that again?
Is it flowing at the same frequency as you? Okay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes certain sounds don't sound good to you. You know why? Because it's not on a frequency you're resonating with. Okay. We have to be resonating on the same frequency for you to get it and for it to be in alignment with what you're doing.
It definitely has the wall of ivory getting cracked in it from this level of teaching, correct? And the reason why we're saying it, you know why? Because we want you to go higher. Because if we were to say everything that happens behind closed doors, even that situation yesterday on Alfie's channel, it's no way in the world you can pay for that to happen.
Oh, absolutely. And you know there was supposed to be a connection to it, because like I told you, I just had a thought, oh wait, I remember he was going to be going live last night. I was literally in my car on my way back from a task we had spoke about. I just happened to just turn it on. I was sitting in the parking lot waiting for somebody. I said, let me just turn it on. I turned it on, and in that exact moment, there was an acknowledgement of LDA. And at that exact moment, he spoke about it. And at that exact moment, Alfie said his thing. Trust me, that's not a coincidence. That's a connection. Okay? That's a connection to spirit. That's a connection to spirit. And you know what? The only way that something like that happens is because you were supposed to be there. God put you in the right place at the right time for the right thing. And if he has the money in your pocket to get it at the same time, it makes it an even bigger bonus. Right. Sometimes you don't even need the money.
Right. But I gave first.
Exactly.
That's the people that I gave first. Not for that response, but I just gave first.
It didn't require a response.
No.
You knew at some point he was going to acknowledge you, but you didn't expect that response. And you know what? We respect it. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You respect it because that was confirmation. It wasn't even a direct communication to you. It was confirmation of
right.
And guess what? We respect it. It was confirmation.
Yes, definitely was confirmation. There. That's why we're talking about the spiritual side of the game, because the spiritual side of the game is not to stop your game, it's just to elevate it. And I think a lot of people have missed out on the spiritual side of the game because they think it's only predicated So when they need something, or when they need to pray, or when God don't show up, no, it is what? Deeper and wider than even that. I know Jono is holding back. Please break down water so that the thinking class may rise to in thought. He said, you know you holding back.
Nah, well, we need to definitely make a platform for it. We're not just gonna give it away over here. I promise you that. We've done that enough here. But you're right.
If they really understand the spiritual side of the game, they realize they can go into the spirit and adjust things in the natural. Let me say that again. If you really understand the spiritual side of the game, you can go in without doubt layers to these men. Yes, it is. And I see what you're seeing, John. Tips, I peep on John on LDA. Yeah. Let me say this. If you really understand the spiritual side of the game, you realize you can go into the spirit and adjust some things. I got to give an example. Because it won't make sense me saying it because it sounds real pretty and nice. But until you get a story behind it, there was an individual that was at my job that was just giving me the Kraft macaroni and cheese blues. I mean, he was giving me the blue. Every time we looked, we was always in it. Always going in it. So what I had to do was I had to go within and change my perception of him and see him in a new light. It took a couple minutes because, he was giving me the blues about stuff that wasn't even necessary. And I was constantly arguing with him mentally. I was always mentally arguing with him. So the moment I stopped mentally arguing with him, the moment I changed my perception of him, guess what happened on the outside? He began to change on how he responded to me based on the image that I have of him. When you understand that, you understand that on multiple levels, even when it comes to, for men, you dealing with women, and women, you dealing with men. Let me say that again. I had to go and stop mentally arguing with this individual. For work, I'm like, man, this guy, I'm going off. I'm cussing up a storm. The moment I stop mentally arguing with this guy, the moment I start seeing him in a different what? Different light. I start hearing him in the spirit say, yo, LDA, you the best, man. You're doing good work. A, B, C, D, F, G. Yeah, actually, he's a supervisor. The moment I begin to hear that and it became real and I knew it was real on the inside, guess what? He adjusted to my perception of him. And the reason why I say this, so when guys say they have problems with women, could it be is you that have the problem because of your perception? You're already arguing with women before they already show up. You already perceive them to be a certain way, and so they conform to how you see them. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know it. And he changed. Yesterday, he spoke to me. Hey, how you doing, LDA? How's it going? Everything going? Everything's going fine. Because I stopped mentally arguing with him. I stopped seeing him in that light. Could it be? We talk about the spiritual side of the game. You're mentally arguing with people. You're in strife with everybody, and they keep showing up in your life. If you were to go into the spirit side of the game and stop the arguments, stop the discord, stop the fighting in your world, it will reflect on the world on the outside.
We said this before. The spirit isn't what you are expressing on the outside is just a copy of the inward pre-take. Okay, you know how you go rehearsal before the play. The rehearsal is happening inside you first, and it's just playing out in the physical right now. It was already practiced the day before, the hour before, the minute before. That's why you feel so confident with the responses you have. That's why you feel so pervient to the connection that you're going to make with the person, because you already visited that day or that hour or that minute. So if you attract to yourself what you want and how you want things to go and how you know things are going to be, then why would you even have the argument to even think about when you already know this has already been visited? So if you could just recreate it in the mind and turn it into something positive, or at least the outcome where you are at rest with no stress, you almost think about it like, well, you're doing yourself an injustice by allowing the argument to even play out, because you already know the result of that particular side of it. And because you have such a strong connection to it, you can make it whatever you want. So you have to almost look in the mirror and say, why did I create the argument when I could have created a positive conversation that would have the outcome that would give me success? You have to choose you this day.
That, Jono, that's the spiritual side of the game in a nutshell. It's the spiritual side of the game. We've been saying this for the past 3 weeks. This is the real side, the spiritual side of the game. So you got,
Just choose.
Yeah, just choose. But you got to choose the right image. So if you're listening to content that women ain't sugar, honey, iced tea, and you go along with the argument on the inside, guess what's just going to show up on the outside?
Yeah.
Women who are going to be what? Disgruntled, arguing, want to be, you ain't nothing. It's a song we used to sing in church, man. And I was little. I did not like, I mean, you know, you hear little songs at church, like, oh, God, why are they always singing this song? I like, why are they always singing this song at church? But it made so much sense now that I grew up and I understand what they were really saying. The song was this: Jesus on the inside, working on the outside. Oh, what a change in my life. And they used to be happy. Oh, Jesus on the inside, working on the. I'm like, and the old people be clapping around. They be moving. They had the tambourines. Ding, 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 ding. They be going. Jesus on the inside, working on the outside. Oh, what a change in my life. If you understand what I'm really getting at, the Spirit of God on the inside, working on the outside, brought about a change in my life. That is the essence of the spiritual side of the game. Jono gave the whole analogy about connecting to the Spirit. If you allow it working on the inside brought about a change in my life. Man, I didn't understand when I was little, man, when I heard that song. But I used to laugh because I see the old people dance around and tambourines and stuff like that. But what they had was the wisdom on how to what? Create their day.
It's true. It's true. Where do you find out the whole Bible is like a Sunday school book? And so many deeper meanings by just the words you see on the face front. A lot of songs we hear, the reason why they are communicated in the version of song or in the form of song is so they can be easily remembered. And some of these affirmations need to be plugged into you by repetition. That's why you have the chorus, and that's why you have the verses literally embedding in you on a constant basis so that it will live inside you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When the verse says, "Thou art with me," that's the way it's with you, by remembering it and letting it glue to your soul, let it glue to the inside so that you can reference it and use it. It's a tool.
Nursery rhymes. That's 100% based on your own view and knowledge of your approach life. Upgrade your view and attach and attain perspective. Transmutation of knowledge yields wisdom. Come on, you guys are getting it. This is what he says. Life is 20%. What happened to you, 80% of what you perceive, deal with it. Come on. Realize we can't have a bad day unless we create it. Come on. You guys are getting it. Thinking class is getting it.
A lot of people wake up in the morning like, oh, I got a case of the Mondays. You just named the day. Why'd you have to name it like that? Why can't you call it the beginning? In the beginning, it was life and light. Huh? Why can't you look at Monday as the first day? Okay. And the first fruit. Maybe I should give all I can today so that the rest of my week can go smoothly. That's what you should be doing. Giving the most on the first day so that you know your Friday will be nothing but reward. If you don't acknowledge the fact that these tools are put in your place so that you can utilize them and not just critique them and be a fan in the stands, a spectator, then you won't realize that. You won't actually utilize what's going on. Use the tools you have because you're supposed to be in the game as a player. Okay? You wake up, you're supposed to think about giving first. What can I give? What do I contribute so that when my return comes back multiplied, I can have a multiplied return and don't have to worry about where I'm going tomorrow. Give yourself an opportunity to have constant inbound reward.
Something on the inside, working on the outside.
Simple song. I had to bring it up.
Something on the inside, working on the outside. You ain't in no studio to be cute. You in church. I don't want no studio sound. I want a church sound. Something on the inside.
Simple song.
Oh wow. That's Clarence right there. That's Clarence. What's up, C? What's going on?
I had to play it.
If you knew you were to pass away on Sunday, and then you live to see Monday, it would be the best day of your life. You see that? You see that in a nutshell? Like, that's called being grateful. You would be grateful for that Monday.
Right.
You wouldn't be thinking of it like, oh my God, I gotta get the grind and drag out of bed. But guess what? You could think of it like it could be the best day of your life. You could have been in the hospital all day Sunday, and you woke up in a new day on Monday with your medication actually working this time. It would be the best day ever. The toast would be sweet. The butter on the toast would be sweeter. The coffee would have the most robust bean taste. The eggs would be delicious. And it's because you woke up in a new day. As opposed to thinking about it like it's another day to rise and toil. It could be rise and grind. How about that?
Right. Rise and thrive. Y'all got to get what we're saying, man. There's so much stuff going on right now. It's like a plug-in. You got mail.
It's true.
Go ahead.
It's true. I'm just excited now because I'm thinking about all the stuff that you can just turn around, but the way you think about it properly. Okay, I could take a bad situation, like I said, I could look at a couple things negatively, but what I look at them as is the testing period. I look at them as the chance to get. I told you I was feeling literally physically sick. Did I come on the stream showing yet? No, I never came. You never knew which days they were, did you?
Never knew
which day it was. You know why? Because I used this to revitalize my spirit. I used this to regenerate my soul. I used this, the communication, and the fact that I know I'm going to be literally using what I know to plug in power into someone else. That is what healed me. I didn't see it acknowledge the sickness. I didn't say, "Oh, hey, Larry, what's going on, bro?" I didn't do that. I come up here, LDA. Let's get the thinking class moving in the right direction. I didn't come here with a bunch of excuses. I came here with solutions. That's the way I was taught. I was taught that many years ago. Don't ever give somebody the problem. Give them the solution so that way they already know the problem's halfway solved. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Y'all understand? We're here to give solutions, not problems. That's what game is. That's what we define game is anyway. Who calling me right now? We're gonna make fun of this. Whoever this person is. Huh?
You got tons of phones ringing.
Hello? This is Cynthia from Senior Care calling me. Thank you. Master of your universe. That's what it is.
See, imagine if you actually believed that you had control over it. Imagine if you believed that there was something coming because you just snapped your finger, like a Thanos situation. Now, we're going to use it to wipe out half of everybody's situation? No. You could use that same snap to actually bring life to something that you never knew was going to happen. And by doing that, you get the circular return. You get the multiplied return. You're not expecting it. You don't know where it's going to come from, but you know by giving first what's going to be the reality to make sure it worked out for someone else until it gets back to you. It's like planting a seed. It's like putting out there something that you know you'll get back because you know you're going to need it at a later time. Maybe what's in your pocket is not for your situation right now. Maybe it's so that it can come back to you multiplied. Okay? But you got to recognize that. Sometimes there's a famine in the situation. It's taken away so it can make room for the multiplied version of what's left. Okay? Maybe the spirit knew you were going to go blow that money on something wrong. So you had to make an investment and get it spent in the right direction. I can see that sometimes. I can see that sometimes you are being protected by the spirit. So you don't have to make a mistake in the wrong direction.
When you said that, I heard something. The spirit is trying to protect you from your own ignorance.
It's true.
The
to make the
spirit
wrong decisions.
is trying to protect you from your own ignorance. In the Bible it says what? Lean not to your own understanding. What? Lean not unto your own understanding. Too many of us are leaning to our own understanding when it comes to life and everything. But if you were to tap into the spirit,
I'm going to say something very important. Sometimes the spirit knows your habits and is steering you away from your own bad habits. Sometimes the spirit says, oh, that $1,000 I'm going to give you, what I'm going to do, I'm going to break it up into $200 pieces. Because he knows you get that whole $1,000, you go spend it on that girl that you know darn well don't deserve it. He'll give you the $200 pieces so you know so you could put it in each bill and get the bills paid off so then you can have fun on Friday. Sometimes the spirit knows your bad habits and says, I'm going to protect you so you don't make the same mistake again because you keep doing it.
You might be at the strip club eating shrimp and chicken wings.
paying hundreds of dollars for bottles. Sometimes he only gives you $50 because he knows you're going to have a couple of drinks and walk out. But if you had that 300, if you had that 500, you'd be buying bottles trying to look like a baller, and then you didn't have nothing left in your pocket. Think about it. Somebody parties the wrong way, and somehow your spirit is protecting you when it takes the money and breaks it up.
Then can we say this? Oh Lord, because I seen something. You tap me in now. The spirit is trying to stop you from being a simp. The spirit is trying to prevent you from being a SIMP. Let me say that again. The spirit is trying to prevent you from being a simp. If you were to listen to the spirit, it will say, hey, those are simp tendencies and you're about to simp like you should not be.
Yeah. Like I told you, sometimes you're being sat down for a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when a play doesn't go well on the field? What happens when a basket don't go in the right way or somebody gets fouled in the game? Sometimes the coach got to sit you down. It's not because you're out of the game. It's not because you're a horrible player. It's because you need to take a break and reflect on your actions. And you know what? When things are going well, you're not listening to nobody. When you're all on a high horse and all the money's flowing, all the actions keep coming together, sometimes you're not going to listen during that time, but you will listen when the air is taken out, when somebody knocks the wind out of you, when somebody takes the money out of your pocket, when somebody puts you in a position where you got to focus on what's important. Sometimes you think things are so good, you won't have no strife and no bad times. But guess what? Sometimes the spirit protects you from having a bad time by sitting you down and getting you to focus. And trust me, I told you it happened in the last 10 days. I recognized it and I reacted to it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to get, and all of a sudden, the money started showing back up again. All of a sudden, the opportunity started showing up again. All of a sudden, the sickness went away. It's because I had to change my direction. And I said, if I was ever to be back in that other situation again, you got to give me a sign. If you don't give it to me a sign, I'm not going to know. And all of a sudden, I look on the screen. What did it say? Not now.
Trying to protect you.
When you see not now, it means not now. That was my sign. For you, it may be a phone call that redirects you. For you, it may be the doorbell ringing when you was about to say something about somebody on the phone. For you, it might be, oh, wait a minute, when your kid starts asking you a question when you was about to get on the phone and yell at your boss. Sometimes it's about just recognizing the small signs to get you the big results later. It's preparing you for a day that has not come.
Trying to free you from being a simp. Woo! Say it right there. The Spirit saved me from simping on the big.
I'm gonna tell you this. If you spend, and I'm gonna tell you this, I'm telling you, we're talking to the choir right now. I wish I had a big mirror in front of me. When you put a ton of your effort and your time and your money into something that breeds no result, you need to walk away. It doesn't matter if it was your own, and I'll tell you this, I would even put it to so far as to say your own psychology, your own well-being, your own rationalization of sanity. I've called it many things, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't get a result out of it, walk away, because it's just a big waste of your time. See, I know CJ is watching right now. You're probably screaming in your head right now about this. It's true. I'm not. Trust me, it's about allowing things to stop coddling you and just recognize the truth in it sometimes. And you know what? It just is what it is. If it doesn't bear fruit, why are you sowing seed to it?
Ooh, they ain't got the knife today.
Believe you me, I would not come to this platform if I didn't know it bared fruit. Okay? Who would go to a fruit store that didn't sell no fruit? Who would go to a grocery store that didn't sell no groceries? Who would go to a farm where you couldn't get any produce or livestock? Why would you go? And you know what? You got to ask yourself, what were you running away from if you gave power to something that never bared you any fruit? You have to ask yourself that. Mm-hmm. What were you running from?
You know what, John?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are past our time. I think we might have to talk about how the Spirit hear the Spirit tomorrow. How to hear the Spirit tomorrow. You know what I mean when that music come on? That's like, wait a minute. How to hear the Spirit tomorrow. The Spirit never wanted you to be a simp. Never. Never.
You're supposed to be multiplying. You are not supposed to be losing.
Music coming on. How to hear the Spirit tomorrow. The spiritual side of the game. It's going to be called hearing in the Spirit. Because if you can't hear, you cannot get the instructions.
Listen to the wrong thing, you can't hear the Spirit either.
Shout out to the thinking class. We elevate. Wait a minute. Shout out to everybody that's been watching in the clouds who watched the replay. We see you. We see you. Nothing but love for you. That's why the music coming on. Can you hear in the Spirit? Because the Spirit never wanted you to be a simp. We gotta go. Shout out to Clarence. Shout out to everybody watching. Love the signals. Feels. Ted, we out of here.